That summer was scorching hot, as if the sun itself had decided to descend closer to the earth. The lake, where we often spent our time, became our only refuge. Its dark, cool waters called to us over and over, shielding us from the heat. That day, my friends and I gathered there as usual, unaware that this meeting would change us forever. On the opposite shore, another group of boys was swimming. Their laughter and loud shouts echoed across the still surface of the lake, blending with our own conversations and the splash of water. Everything was as it always was, until we heard it. A scream. Sharp, piercing, filled with terror. It wasn't an ordinary scream of mischief or joy. It was the scream of someone who had seen something that shouldn't exist. We instantly turned toward the source of the sound. On the other shore, amidst the boys, something was happening. At first, we couldn't make sense of it, just chaotic movement and noise, and then we saw it. Among them rose a figure, dark, almost transparent, yet eerily vivid. It was something resembling a human, but with elongated arms that seemed far too long to be natural. Its body was covered in something that looked like algae, and its eyes, two bright spots, glowed in the darkness like lanterns in the depths of the ocean. This creature grabbed one of the boys. He screamed and struggled, but its arms were unyielding like a vice. We watched as it dragged him into the water. The other boys screamed and tried to help, but it seemed that all their efforts were in vain. When the boy disappeared beneath the water, an eerie silence fell. Only the wind stirred the treetops. We stared at the spot where the creature had vanished moments before, unable to believe that it had truly happened. The next day we gathered again, but not at the lake. We told others about what we had seen, but no one believed us. "It's just your imagination," they said. But we knew it wasn't. Time passed, and life returned to its usual rhythm. But every time I walked past the lake, I felt as though someone from the water was watching me. Sometimes I even heard a faint splash when no one else was around. I began reading about the lake, trying to find any mention of similar phenomena. Old newspaper clippings told stories of strange disappearances and mysterious drownings. Local residents spoke of a legend that the lake had once been home to an ancient spirit awakened by humans. They had built their homes over old sacred lands. Ignoring the water might accidentally awaken the spirit, and then it would take whoever stood in its way. One evening, as I was walking home, I heard the familiar scream. This time it came from the other side of the lake. My heart tightened and I quickened my pace, not daring to turn around. I knew that if I saw those glowing eyes, I would never be able to return to a normal life. They say the lake remembers everything. Sometimes it takes those who venture too close to its secrets. I never swam there again or went near the water. But even now, in the dead of night, I dream of a dark figure rising from the depths and reaching out its long arms. Years passed. I had long since left that town, but the lake wouldn't leave me alone. At night, when I closed my eyes, I could hear the splash of water. In my dreams, I was back on the shore, watching as the dark figure stretched out from the water, its eyes burning, staring straight at me. It seemed to be waiting, as if demanding that I return. One day I received a letter from an old friend who had stayed in the town. He told me that another tragedy had occurred at the lake. This time, an entire family that had decided to spend the day there had disappeared. Their boat was found capsized, but the bodies were never recovered. The locals were whispering again about the curse, about the water spirit that claimed its victims. I decided to go back even though I knew it was dangerous. The lake drew me like a magnet. I had to uncover the truth, even if it meant confronting my worst fears. Late in the evening, I arrived at its shore. The water was calm, but I felt as if something alive was lurking beneath the surface. Suddenly, a cold wind blew, and I heard a soft but clear voice. You have returned.